Would you like to be able to fight like Ilia Topuria? Of course you would. Ilia Topuria has a right hand like a cannon, but a lot of the things he does well are completely trainable. In this session with two of the MMA fighters I work with, I'll go over some of the fundamental things Ilia does well to knock people out, avoid punishment, and stuff takedowns.
They're defensively and now able to land on Power 2. Beautiful up.
The first thing we need to be able to practice is head movement. Ilia moves his head really well and uses the classic side-to-side motion to keep his head off of a line and make it easier to react and avoid punches. If you're already in motion, it's easier to stay in motion, as opposed to being completely static and then trying to suddenly move quickly to get out of the way. I like the analogy tick-tock the head. Think of a pendulum in a grandfather clock moving from side to side. It's a great way to remind yourself to move, but move in a smooth way, not erratically swinging your head around like a headbanger at a concert. If fighting or sparring against someone you know will look to straight punch a lot, for example leading with jabs or right hands or straight backhands, then this is a great strategy to help you be able to time and slip the shot. It's important to stay on balance and in a good stance when doing so. So to break that into a drill, I ask the boys to jab each other methodically 3 for 3 at 50% power to get moving and practice safely. Now, a move in the head is going to help you set up your power shots if you do it with shoulder and torso rotation. One of Ilia's best moves is the cross counter. He'll slip his head on the inside of a jab and sling a right hand over the top. This is the next level from being purely defensive to being able to set up an effective counter. Counter blows are the most dangerous as the opponent often doesn't see it coming, which is why a lot of counter shots cause knockouts and significant damage. Just look at the way Ilia moves from side to side, rotating his body as he sets up his uppercut hook cross that floors Bryce Mitchell. In the drill, I'm asking the lads to practice the head movement from the previous drill whilst moving forward. They're transferring the weight from side to side, creeping forward to apply pressure on their opponent until they feel it's the right time to unleash the combination. You can practice this stationary at first with no movement, but I find that once you can get a technique or concept in a live drill, you have a much higher chance of being able to implement it in sparring or a fight. The timing comes down to feel, knowing the right range to be in to throw the shots at the right time.
Bryce is starting to land now. He looks tired though, mouth wide open.
I think he got stung. Oh, big uppercut.
Another Topuria technique I love for mixed martial arts is the shoulder roll. Sean Strickland made this a trend as of late in his title win over Adesanya. I have a video about this on the channel, but Ilia Topuria against the power punching Josh Emmett used some of the slickest punch defense I've seen in the UFC. The shoulder roll relies on using the lead shoulder to deflect the right hand by tucking the chin in behind the shoulder and turning the torso side on as the punch lands at the last second. It works best on the same side stance matchups and could become problematic when it's southpaw versus orthodox, but Topuria used it wonderfully to nullify the right hand of Josh Emmett. He combined the Philly shell defense with pushbacks, pushing off his lead leg to spring just out of range, just making the punches fall short, and then spring back into right hand counters. The in and out pushbacks are another important piece of the Topuria puzzle. He's able to stand really close to his opponent and apply pressure, pushing out just enough to make the punches miss whilst remaining close enough to counter.
Yeah, good. Good. There you go. That's it. That's it. That's your rhythm. That's how you... Yes. Good.
Ilia will lower his stance and bend at the knees, as this will allow him to punch with far more power, as he isn't just punching with his arms. Think Mike Tyson. He's able to generate force through his whole body, using his legs to drive through the floor combined with the rotation. He's fully committed to his punches, and this lowered base is very useful when looking to defend against takedowns. Ilia uses a down block multiple times against Bryce Mitchell to just shrug the American off. It's much harder for him to get underneath the hips on Topuria as he has such a low base. Topuria is a distinguished grappler. I believe he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but he's more of a top player and doesn't want to be on bottom in mixed martial arts. Essentially, if you have your back to the floor in MMA, unless you're submitting the guy, you're probably losing the round. Ilia has developed a very sophisticated sprawl and brawl style. It's punch heavy. He understands how to use his stance to be effective in both attack and defense, how to defend takedowns, avoid being hit, and land devastating combinations with his hands that can change the course of a fight at any moment. It's important to note that without the defense, he wouldn't have as good an attack. The two things complement each other and work together. Defend and counter, never be out of position. He has a fantastic base and he understands the basics, and he's quoted to have said to be heavily inspired by Canelo. Topuria is definitely a fighter worth studying, and when trying out this style, really focus on the basics of having a good strong stance, learning how to rotate your body effectively so you're not off balance when you're slipping or rolling or over committing on your punches, and get to grips with the simple in and out footwork, the pushing in and out of the lead leg, the complexity of simplicity. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope there are a few things that you could take away from it and use in your own training, and at the very least have a greater appreciation and understanding of what an elite fighter like Topuria is doing. You can also follow me on Patreon for extra breakdowns over there, and feel free to inbox me by direct message. Pro striking out, I'll catch you later.